I think that's a pretty graphic representation of the different noises that we encounter as riders. And right now we've got wind noise as well. So what's changed and what's new and what else have I got in my repertoire for active noise cancelling? Let's have a look. Let's see what's new since last time I talked about active noise cancelling. And the new contender on the block is the Mee X20, which has also got a charging case very similar to the Sony. But there's a couple of things, if you have a look, the difference between the size of what you have to carry and also the size of the actual earphones. There's quite a big difference. So one of my gripes with the Sony was that it's a bulky piece of gear to put in your ear and to be comfortable and to stay there. And I actually had to go to the foam expanding tips to get both of these to stay in my ear comfortably in and off the helmet. You can see in some dimensions they're quite similar, but there's a lot less bulk for the MEEs. So these are also $100. So they're 5 hours use time, which I'm not 100% certain that I agree that they'll go 5 hours. Yeah, but there's also 4 charges in the case. So you charge the case up, the case charges these. So let's say that that's where they came up with the 20. It takes an hour and a half to charge in the case. Now if you're riding for 4 hours, you stop for lunch, you shove it in the case, take 3/4 of an hour for lunch, you're probably going to get another 4 hours. So, you know, there might be an 8-hour day of riding in these. That's about what I've found. They're IPX4, which means they're sweat resistant, you know, which is a good thing. And on their website they're quoted as minus 42 decibels. Now, they've got a couple of little microphones external to the noise cancelling, so it's hearing what's coming towards your ear. But unlike the Bose and the Sony, it, as far as I can tell and as far as I can find out, doesn't have a microphone inside, and the noise cancelling is not as good. So there's noise cancelling for just generic everyday noise, and then there's noise cancelling for specific things. Now with the Mee X20s, Mee Audio X20s, on the rally bike, I found that at higher revs it would actually start to flutter and it would cut in and out. Now you all know that I've talked about the Bose QC20s, how they have a popping noise from the wind. The QC20s will also do a popping noise, like if you go to a MotoGP race or something like that, which is very, very loud. They will also pop when you exceed the decibel levels exceptionally. These are doing that at a lower level. These are doing that when I'm just riding with my Nishua Carbon Enduro helmet on the rally, on the road. If I'm accelerating and I'm actually, you know, above 6,000 RPM and going hard, then it starts to cut out like every second one. What it also does though is it gives me a lower level of noise cancelling, and I can actually hear the bass. I can hear my exhaust more with these than I can with the Sonys or the Bose setup. So these are good. I'm not bagging them. They're $100. They're pretty comfy. You know, I've got the comply tips on, so you squeeze them, you put them in, you wait till they expand, and you get good noise cancelling passively, and then the active noise cancelling on top of that. I've worn them for mowing the lawn, and I actually have to turn the music up a bit more because they're not cancelling as much noise. But I've also pulled up on the track and not had to take them off to have a conversation. So they are part of my repertoire now, and they're a $100 option. They go in the case, and when you put them in the case, then they start flashing that they're charging, they're ready to go, and you just have to pull them out and they pair with your phone. So the next one down from that is the PLT Plantronics Backbeat Go 410, to use its whole name. And this is a Bluetooth one as well, so I've got 3 Bluetooth and a wired version. I actually find it really comfy, and with my KTM I actually like the fact that I don't have to pair it with the bike. So with the 2 ear plug style ones, I have to pair it with the bike and control my audio from the handlebars. With this one I actually don't pair with the bike, and you know, you can stop and start your music, make your volume go up and down, press it twice and go forward, press it twice on the bottom and go backwards. Since last time I talked about active noise cancelling, I also use AIMP, which is Android only app, and what that does is it actually surveys the track and it gets your volume much closer to where all the tracks are the same. So I find I don't go up and down on the volume very much now that I've changed to using that as my music player, which is an AI music player. It's got a little bit of intelligence to it. This is proprietary tips, which are a soft rubber, and they go in and settle very quickly, just like the Bose. I don't have the comply, you know, there's no comply tips for these, so nothing to squeeze. They don't cut out quite, they cut out a little bit more than the MEEs, but they don't cut out quite as much. And I tend to ride with these quite a bit on the KTM and the 2-stroke road bikes. They actually work quite well for that as well. I can hear what's going on. Not quite as much as the MEEs, but they don't cut out. They don't do the cut out thing. Now, you would have heard when I had all 3 bikes going that you couldn't even hear the KTM going over the Kawasaki 3-cylinder with expansion chambers, and also that the motocross bike was loud. These don't cut out enough on the motocross bike to make it comfortable to ride the motocross bike with. You're actually getting quite a bit of exhaust noise. On the motocross bike I also wear a motocross helmet, you know, which doesn't have as much noise cancelling just in the helmet, and yeah, so I find these fine for the KTM and the Kawasaki 3-cylinder 2-stroke, you know. Again, not as much noise cancelling as the next 2 options, which is the Sony WF1000XM3. Now, I couldn't find a decibel reading for these, but these do only go for 4 hours. They also charge up in 1.5 hours, but you can charge them for 10 minutes and get 1.5 hours use out of them. So they'll quick charge the first third, you know, in 10 minutes. And that's actually quite useful because, you know, when you stop, I mean, I've got to say, I never ever go out with only one noise cancelling option with me. I mean, 90% of the time I've got I've got two noise cancelling options with me, and because they get uncomfortable, you know, and it's good to change around. These get uncomfortable a little bit quicker because the comply tips and the bulk of it in your ear actually is quite big, and you can see that they're sticking out. Also, the microphone for them is then pressing against the foam, and if you're moving around at all on a call, you can't hear very well. So that's automatically paired with my phone. I've got music coming in there now. But if I'm riding the Rally, which has control on the handlebars, then I'll link up with the dash on that. On the other bikes, I just set it to a low enough level that I can hear the music a little bit, and the noise cancelling on these is very good. It also does not pop. So on the Rally or the Kawasaki, when you're over 100 kilometers an hour-ish, you know, or you've got a truck or a van or a very square four-wheel drive or a BMW GSA in front of you, you know, putting out square waves, you actually get a popping with the Bose. You don't get a popping with these. I haven't found a level that I can get to of noise where these don't still noise cancel. But having said that, I have not used them on the motocross bike, which is the loudest of the three in actual decibels. So yeah, I haven't actually tried that because they're too uncomfortable to have on under the motocross helmet for a long time, and I actually can't get it on and off without them dislodging and losing the seal. Now my preference out of all of these is the QC20 Boses. When I say this is the best that I've found for my use, I've actually found that there's certain pairs, like I've actually got 4 pairs of these kicking around that I've had over the different. Well, I mean, this one is literally taped up. The wiring is all frayed. It's got a knot in it, which means not for highway use. This one pops a lot. This particular pair is an Android pair, an older Android pair that doesn't have the rocker volume switch, and I find that this one is the least poppy of all of them. I got this one, I got the Android phone, so this pair pops the least. I've got the adapter there for the USB-C, you know, to plug in. Now these are supposed to go for 14 hours, and I have had them go for, you know, 10 hours. When they say 14 hours, they just mean 14 hours of noise cancelling, and you know, when you play music and noise cancel and have lots of other noise, then it's working a lot harder to, first of all, cancel the noise, and secondly, play your music. Music quality on the Bose is very neutral. It's not bassy, it's not trebly, it's pretty much in the middle. It's okay. The music quality on the Sonys is tunable on an app and superior in bass and clarity. You know, considering I use FLAC files, I use the larger FLAC lossless files. The music quality on the Sony is quite nice. The MEE is okay, but you have to turn it up a little bit louder if there's any other noise, and the music tends to be a little loud, you know, to cover that. So yeah, it's all right, and I would say that the PLT is in the middle. It's actually got a little bit better bass, and the fidelity is pretty good. I mean, you know, anything that you're using Bluetooth for is not going to be audiophile quality, generally speaking. Which brings me to the last thing that I've always got is kicking around a couple of pairs of earplugs, and my personal preference by far with earplugs is these 3M 1100s, which are a softer foam, you know, V-shaped softer foam, and really the only way to go on the motocross bike. And when I'm in Tassie, you've seen my videos back on the channel on riding the 150 Husky. I tried a couple of noise cancelling options on that, and they wouldn't handle that noise at all, or the 200 KTM that I rode last time down on the St Helens to Strahan ride. We did 2 last year, so one on the 150 and one on the 200. And the trail rides that I go to, yeah, it's just foam earplugs, and I find a new fresh pair of them works the best. You get the best noise cancelling. So let's go to the board and give a bit of a rating of everything out of 10. I would say that other than the popping, the Bose are a 10. But because of the popping, I'll give that a 9. I would say that the active noise cancelling on the Sony is the next closest, and it doesn't pop, but it's not as good for wind noise as the Bose, so I'd also give that a 9. The Plantronics are not quite as good in the noise cancelling. They don't pop, but you do have to turn the volume up a little bit more because they don't, but also pretty good. I'd give them an 8. And the MEEs just don't cancel quite enough noise, so whether I'm mowing the lawn or riding the bike or one of the 2-strokes, I don't rate their noise cancelling technology as high as the others. I'll give them a 7. And the passive earplugs, they are what they are. You know, they're a known quantity. They cancel a good amount of the noise without being, you know, active noise cancelling. I'd probably rate them about the same as the MEEs. Now this is all just my personal thing. The battery life on the Bose, I got to give them a 10. They will last genuinely a whole day. You know, sometimes we sprint back from the end of an adventure ride, and you know, we'll ride for 10 or 12 hours, and yeah, they'll go 10 hours. The Sony, you know, you could get away with doing the 10-minute recharge, you know, but they're not as good. I'll give them an 8. The PLTs actually last quite well. Their battery life is quoted as 8 hours, and they also say that they'll do 20 hours of noise cancelling, you know, with no music playing. So I'm going to give them an 8 as well. Not as good as the Bose. The MEEs are supposed to go 5 hours with 1.5 hour charge with four charges in the thing. You know, for $100, they're actually not bad. They're you know, reasonable on the thing. They probably also quick charge similarly to the Sony, so let's give them a 7.5. 3Ms, they get no rating. Sound quality. Now the Sony, I got to give the 10 for the sound quality. I think that they're the best. The Bose is very neutral. It doesn't do much. The PLT actually has a little bit more bass. I'll give that a 9. The MEE and the Bose, I'd give an 8 on both of those. And comfort. That is a big thing. I mean, you're riding for a long time. We're talking adventure rides. We're talking, you know, doing long trips. You know, I mean, the Bose is my go-to, you know, when we go to the Flinders, you know, we're away for 2 weeks. I actually take a spare pair. I mean, that's how much I don't want to be without one. and I also take one of the Bluetooth ones. In fact, the last few times I've taken the Plantronics, you know, as your backup. So, you know, comfort, I'm going to give 10 to the Bose. The PLTs with the similar earplug are very, very close to being as comfy as the Bose. The only thing is you do have the two cords hanging down, and you know, it can get a bit grabby. The Mee and the Sony, I'm going to give both of them a 7 because of you know, the tips after a while expanding into your ear canal to hold them into your ears does get a bit uncomfortable, and you have to have them that size to hold them in. So it's a little bit of a catch-22. The earplugs, once they're in and set, I don't even notice them. They're in and they're good for the day, you know. So I mean, if you look at that, you know, you've got a couple of 10s, a couple of 8s. The Bose do come out on top again. You know, the Sony are a close second. The PLTs are a third. The MEEs are a fourth. And the earplugs are just sort of a go-to and a fill-in at the back of the arsenal. You know, the other day I was putting my stuff together and I realised almost every time I go out, I've got 3 things with me. I've got a set of the 3M earplugs, which are just a backup to shove in if I've stuffed up and I haven't charged anything, and I get out and halfway into the ride I realise both the other things have no charge. You know, then I've always got a pair of those. I bought 100 pairs of them, the earplugs. Most of the time recently I'll take one wired pair, you know, the Bose, and one of the Bluetooth options. A lot of the time lately I'm going for the PLT as my second option because it also has the external control. You know, the MEEs and the Sonys both have fingertip control on the actual units. You know, you can forward tracks, you can go up and down on the volume, you know, by touching them, which you can't do while you've got a helmet on. So, you know, with both of those, I have to go through the extra step, the extra rigmarole of pairing the phone to the bike first, if I'm, you know, on the 890, pairing the bike to the phone, waiting till that's paired and my music comes up on the dash, and then taking out and pairing the headphones. This is the only way that it works, you know, in the sequence of getting it all going. So, yeah, if you've got your, and actually it's the same with the wired ones and the PLTs. With the PLTs, it's no problem. I can put my helmet on and get everything going and get everything paired and then turn it on. And similarly with the Bose, I can do the same, get everything paired and then turn on the power switch. Just an idiosyncrasy with the KTM way that it connects with the dashes. You have to have the dash control connected to your phone before you connect your audio source. You can also pair the earphones to the bike. You know, the three Bluetooth options can pair to the bike, but I don't find the music quality as good, and I don't find the call quality as good. So I don't necessarily pair them, I just pair the phone. The Bluetooth MEEs and Sonys, you know, on the two-stroke road bike, you know, there's a little bit of a problem because you have no control over them. Once they're on, they're set, other than having to take your phone out and turn your volume up or down on your phone, you know, which you can do. And this is a bit of a noisy street. Sometimes I think I need noise cancelling just to be here, you know, but I mean, that's a good rundown on the current state of my noise cancelling headphone collection. There are other options. There are other wired options. There are cheaper wired options, which I've had a couple of. I gave one, there was one in my last noise cancelling video. I did get a set of earplugs from someone who saw the video, and they sent it to me to try out, which was very nice of them. And they're fine on the road bike, but they didn't cut enough decibels for the two-stroke or for the motocross bike. Not unexpected, there's a decibel level that they work at, and they don't work above that. So they're not in my rotation at the moment. If I'm just going to go passive, I'm just going to use the 3M soft foam wedgie shaped kind of earplugs, which you squeeze, you shove in, and you hold your finger against it until it expands into your ear, and then you've got a good seal. So yeah, I've even got this pair, which if they've got a knot in them, it means they're not for use on the bike. But this pair is my oldest pair. I actually use this pair with my coffee machine. It's actually got a really noisy steamer, which is right in the frequency that irritates my particular form of tinnitus. So yeah, I actually have a pair of these sitting next to the coffee maker, which I use for that. So noise cancelling on the mowing the lawns. You saw where I was mowing for the traction control video. Yeah, it's just more comfortable to do it with active noise cancelling, and yeah, most of the time I actually rotate through them, and that's one of the things that I use to get a bit of an idea of how they perform. So I hope this is helpful with you a little bit. At the moment, the Bose are actually on special at Harvey Norman's for $200 for a new set, so I'll probably get a new set to replace, because it's the Android ones, to replace my Android ones, which are starting to get a little bit frayed and a little bit worn. I've got more than a year. I ride a lot, 40-something thousand Ks a year on a good year. So I've actually got good use out of these, but I do eventually wear them out. Like this one's literally got tape. The rubber coating is coming off them, and yeah, they're coming apart in more ways than one. So I hope that's helpful to someone, and if you've got an option that you're finding very, very handy and good, I know that there's a Bose version similar to the PLT around the neck one. I actually didn't get it because I saw reviews that it was not as durable. You also have to be careful with some of the noise cancelling ones that they don't transmit noise from the thing around your neck through a stiff wire, and I've read the reviews on a few others that I was looking at buying, and they said that they had the stiff wire, and that transmits wind noise, as much as anything, and also, you're moving around, you're bumping, so yeah, I haven't gone, there's plenty of options out there. These are just the ones that I've got currently in the lineup, which is a little bit different to the last time I did this, so I hope that helps someone in the adventure riding or motorbike riding or classic riding world, and yeah, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.